Okay, so here we are with a new episode of Inside Magazine, our, let's say, media section of Inside Scouting. And I'm very happy to introduce you the guest for this month because it's a pretty big one. I'm talking about Isiaha Mike, freshly new player of Partizan Belgrade and one of the recent, EuroLeague edition of this season. With Isiaha, of course, we're going to focus a little bit on his background, how he got to the European basketball environment, his college time experience, and we're going to present you everything for Isiaha as a player, his path. So I hope it's going to be an interesting conversation for everyone who's gonna watch this. So first of all, Isiaha, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate that, man.
No problem, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. So of course, as we focus a lot on college on our website, I was curious to ask you, a little bit about your college days. Of course, you had your first college experience first with UCAS, and then you moved to SMU. So, especially, for those who are not that familiar with college basketball, how would you describe that whole transfer process from one school to another?
Well, it's changed a lot now. When I was still in college, when I had transferred anyway,
Mm-hmm.
the rule was that when once you decide to transfer, you have to sit out a year unless you have like a medical exemption or like a family exemption or something along
Mm-hmm.
the lines. So yeah, when I got to SMU, I had to sit out for a whole season, lifting like crazy. I was like 10 pounds, 15 pounds heavier than I was my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was in every practice, scout team, had to go to class and do everything else like the team. I just couldn't go on road games. But yeah, the experience was challenging, but was worth it.
And how much of those, especially those last 2 years at SMU, how much do you think they prepared you for the professional experience? Mm-hmm.
So I was blessed enough to have a good enough background to transition well from high school to college and then from college to the pros.
Yeah.
My last 2 years, however, I think the most I improved on was probably my temperament. I was still very young, thinking the world revolves around me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I mean? Thinking that points are the only thing that's going to get me paid at the next level. I was very, very naive to the entirety of the game. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but still very competitive. I've learned throughout those 2 years. I kind of had to change the way I express my emotions and my passion for the game,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest way I had to change is how I would communicate with my teammates because I would be so fired up. Something I would say it would be true,
Mm-hmm.
but the way it comes off would be a little bit aggressive and then just be counterproductive to what we're trying to do as a unit. So I would say that that would be the biggest area of growth for me in those 2 years. My maturity, my emotional maturity.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when you made that transition from college basketball to the professional world, playing in Europe, especially your first season, you played in Germany in your first season in Europe. What was let's say, the main difficulties that you faced in your experience in making that transition from college to the pro basketball in Europe?
The very first thing that comes to like first year COVID. So that was very challenging. I was told
Hmm.
that Chemnitz had one of the best home courts in all of Germany, but I didn't get to experience that my first year.
Hmm.
But as far as basketball and uh, and that kind of stuff goes. I had a few run-ins with my head coach Rodrigo. We have a great relationship, of course.
Hmm.
But I guess I could say how how fixed a coach could be on their principles. You know,
Hmm.
they're not really as flexible when they've been doing this for years. You know, and me
Yeah.
coming in as a rookie, kind of being more fluid and seeing the nuance within the game on the court wasn't easily translatable to in conversation. You know, so I could say I see something,
Hmm.
but if coach wants it done this way, then he wants it done this way. You know, it'd be a different story if me and my teammates are on the same page. But if I'm trying to say something to one of my teammates, or my coach is saying another thing to one of my teammates, then we're not really going to get anywhere. And it kind of reflected in our record that year. Maybe if we had a home court advantage, it would have been better. Or if you know what I mean. But I definitely think that played a part. Me being still a little stubborn
Hmm.
to fully buying in, but then that following year, I fully bought in. But then also seeing that it's not always a conversation that has to be had, but just getting it done. You know,
Yeah.
still trying to be coachable, still trying to be a good teammate. Uh, but but yeah, man, I'd say that would be the biggest challenge. I would say
Yeah.
not necessarily having my voice heard right
Hmm.
away.
Okay. Okay. And of course, before you joined Partizan this summer, you spent 2 seasons in France with Borg.
Yeah.
And of course, it was a really positive experience for you. Everyone, I think that everyone who didn't know you yet, they started to know you, during your time in Borg because your performances were so good. Do you think there was, a specific element that helped you reach this level of performances during your time in France?
Um, I would say eliminating the off court distractions.
Uh huh.
Like I said before, coming straight out of college, I was still pretty young minded, wanting to go out and party every other weekend and
Hmm.
uh, just focusing on the wrong things. But I had my family out here in France with me, I should say, just trying to be better
Hmm.
as a human. I think that really helped me. But as far as on court stuff, I really feel like I've been doing the same thing my entire time out here, shooting threes, dunking. Like my stats haven't grown tremendously from one year to the next. Um, but I got a chance to show that I can do it consistently from Germany, my first year in Germany to my second year in Germany, then from my second year in Germany to my first year in Euro Cup, and
Hmm.
showed that I can maintain that same level of production again that following year. Even I think my second year was probably way better in the European competition, just because of the dynamic of the teams, the difference in dynamic of the teams that we had.
Um, and of course, coming to this summer, the move to Partizan, I was curious how that all process went down for you. Did you had many offers on the table, and I was wondering also how much did you know about Partizan and their environment, considering is a pretty historic team here in Europe.
Yeah. There were a few offers on the table, but once Partizan came into play, I
Hmm.
didn't really waste any time. I was, however, shopping around in the NBA, trying to get secure workouts and finish workouts before I made the final decision to sign.
Hmm.
Um, because I do think that I'm an NBA caliber player. It's just a matter of fit and timing.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, once Partizan came into play, it was like a done deal. Really, the opportunity to play for Coach Obradovich, and the amazing atmosphere that they have here in Belgrade. It was really a no-brainer for me. I didn't really know much about Partizan, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Obviously, when the whole situation with Real Madrid came into play, I I was aware of the two teams that were brawling.
Yeah.
Even coming into college, high school, like I wasn't really super tapped into basketball history.
Uh-huh.
I kind
Yeah.
of played it because I really didn't have anything else to do, and
Yeah.
it was a way that I could stay out of trouble. So everything has kind of been year to year for me.
Hmm.
But since being in Europe, I've definitely learned more about the EuroLeague, Euro Cup, and the difference in levels and all the whole nine. But I'm still not fully educated on all the history.
Hmm.
But since being out here, I've been asking the coaches questions, not just about the history of the club, but history of the country. Like just trying to do my homework while I'm here, and not just being a naive basketball player, like a
Yeah.
airhead jock, like they like to call us.
Yeah. And of course, you joined Partizan only recently, but I was wondering how would you describe so far your experience with Coach Obradovich?
Oh, I love it. I love him, man. He's very detail oriented. You know,
Hmm.
what he's asking of us isn't very difficult, but when you come from different basketball backgrounds and everybody has different basketball experience, it may not always work out the way someone would anticipate, But I think with the group of guys that we have this year, we got a lot of experience, a lot of youth, um, and a lot of smart guys. A lot of guys that pick up on things pretty quickly. So I think that we're gonna have a solid year, a strong year. I think we're gonna overachieve in a lot of outsiders' opinions because, like I said, it's very very simple. The stuff that he wants out of us, it's just intensity and timing and paying attention to the little things. The
Yeah.
little things at this level could could cost you a couple ranks in the seating.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
once we're all locked in on the same details and we're paying attention to the same things, it's gonna be a very very special year.
Okay. And of course, as as we mentioned before, you made that transition from college to the pro world. So I was curious to ask you, what would be the suggestion that you would give to someone who's just coming out of college and is about to make his first experience in international basketball, either Europe or some other areas? What would be the suggestion that you would give to this player, to have a legit good experience playing overseas, playing internationally?
Well, to be honest, it's hit or miss, man. It's been
Hmm.
I've been blessed enough to have a good experience everywhere I've been. You know, um, where the money's on time, surrounded by good guys. I haven't had to switch out coaches every 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Um, but if I could give any advice to somebody coming out of college, I'd say do your homework on on the clubs that are interested in you. For one, the volatility of the market of basketball in the country that you're looking to go to. The volatility of roster changes on that particular team. Same with the coaching. Like, is this a team that is known for swapping out coaches every couple of weeks, couple of months because of record? Um, are you playing one time a week or twice a week? Are you what? Are you entitled to bonuses? Are you going to be playing in the cup? Are you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a hundred questions that I didn't know I needed to ask my very first interview with my very first team in Germany because I just didn't know. I
Hmm.
thought it was just like college. I go, we play basketball, I get paid, and that's it. But it's you kind of live and you learn in these situations. For example, my first year in Germany was Chemnitz's first year in the BBL.
Hmm.
So there's the German Cup. It's called the Pokal, and all the teams that are in the league get a chance to play in the tournament. But since it was our first year, we missed out on this.
Hmm.
Right. So when I re-signed, I pretty much re-signed for like a copy and paste version of my first year's contract, and I
Hmm.
missed potential bonuses from the Pokal Cup. So these are little things that you
Yeah.
go through it, and they're like, I left some money on the table because we won a few rounds in the Pokal. So as much advice as you could give someone,
Hmm.
each person's path is going to be a little different, and you're still at the end of the day going to have to learn through experience a bit.
Yeah. And going back to college, I was also curious to ask you what do you think about the recent changes that went through in college basketball? With the possibility now for players really to get paid through the NIL deals, the possibility to really get some money from their sponsorship deals and stuff. How much do you think it's gonna impact the decision of a player during that college time?
Hmm. Honestly, I think it's a slippery slope, man.
Hmm.
I'm all for players getting paid.
Hmm.
And when we heard about the NIL deals, some of the figures that they're throwing around at these college kids is nothing like
Yeah.
what I was expecting. Some of these kids are making more than me. It's insane. But yeah, the reason why I say it's a slippery slope is because the pros of it are that there are kids that maybe would have never gone on to play pro or
Hmm.
high level pro overseas or the NBA or whatever, and they're highly ranked and highly sought after out of high school, and they're capitalizing off of it. And I think that's amazing. You still get a chance to provide for your family and better your family situation. But at the same time, if you aren't getting the right advice and you're as reckless as I was in college, it's very easy to squander your money because you're getting so much money and the lavish lifestyle that we see the NBA players, we see these diamond necklaces,
Yeah.
jewelry,
Yeah.
fast cars, going out and paying for 15 people to get in and have a good time.
Yeah.
And you're in college, like you don't got no real responsibilities. So I feel like that's the one thing that could be detrimental. Only if the kids that sign big have somebody in their ear saying, "Oh, give me a little money here, and we'll do this and make." You know what I mean? Uh, I just think that there's a lot of room for the downfall of these kids as well as a way out. But
Yeah.
I'm all for these kids getting paid for sure.
Yeah. Um, Based on your experience in college and now internationally, who would you say it was probably the coach who had the biggest impact on your career?
I'd say my high school coach. My
Hmm.
two, my two high school coaches. I had one, Greg Lockridge, in when I was in high school in Las Vegas, and
Hmm.
then my initial coach, my mentor, Jermaine Holness. He's the head coach of York University in Toronto, Canada, my
Wow.
hometown.
Yeah.
Uh, they really took me under their wing and were patient with me. And before that, I really didn't have any basketball experience before them. And I just got in the gym and was working with my coach Jermaine, night in, night out, day in, day out, and started to progress. And then he kind of handed the baton off to my coach in Las Vegas, and he has the reputation, much like Coach Obradovich, not as decorated at the highest level, but well respected at the high school
Mhm.
level. He very tough, very intense, um, but he tries to simulate the hardships that life bring on you, And after being coached by him, I feel like everyone else after that is just a coach. It's just another coach. It's not somebody that's personally attacking me. It's not, it's just somebody that wants to work with me to win. So yeah, those two guys 100%. And then my coach Freddie. I mean, I got to shout out all my coaches. Honestly, they
Yeah.
they they put faith in me. I made a decision to play for them, and they put faith in me to produce, and they put me in a position to where I can do that at a high level and get recognized for that and get picked off by the next level, by the next level above. So, and I'm really grateful for everyone that's helped me on my journey.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Uh,
yeah, man.
you you said before that you believe that talent wise you're an NBA player.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that for you, the next step in your career it will be to get to the NBA level?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. But like I said, it's about fit. It's not necessarily about skill.
Yeah.
About what the team is looking for right away, or because I'm not a guy that is like for example, my teammate last year, Zach Risachet, he's was one of the best players in all of Euro Cup last year, one of the best
Yeah.
players last year, and he's only 18.
Yeah.
So I feel like the timeline for him to reach his ceiling is wider than it is for me. I still
Mhm.
feel like I'm just scratching the surface of my game.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I definitely feel like I am an NBA player, and if I've made peace with it though, if I end up in the NBA, then I end up in the NBA, and if this is the mountaintop for me in the EuroLeague, then so be it. I'm still playing in the highest international league in the world. You
Yeah.
know, uh, the best basketball players are playing in the EuroLeague to this day. Some players are leaving the NBA. NBA veterans are leaving the NBA to come play in the EuroLeague. So it's not a matter of uh of skill per se, because the talent pool in the EuroLeague is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Year to
It
year,
is.
some of the some players that averaged 15, 20 points in the NBA come over to the EuroLeague and are only averaging 10 to 12
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
And that's amazing in the EuroLeague. And I feel like with the basketball community being so tightly knit versus the viewership of the basketball community, the contrast in between that and the communication between the two people or the two communities, there's a disparity between what's good basketball and what isn't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I get it.
Yeah, man.
And
The fact that I'm in the EuroLeague is it cements that I'm an NBA player in my mind. Because I'm doing what
mhm.
I'm supposed to be at the highest level. It's
Mhm.
just maybe I'm not doing the numbers wise compares to another guy that has maybe a 2 inches taller or 3 taller wingspan or whatever the case may be. But I know in
Yeah.
my heart, put me in that spot to go and do what you're asking me to do. I'm gonna do it to 100%.
And another thing that I wanted to ask you is, as in your new team in Partizan, what do you think it's gonna be the added value that you're gonna bring to this team this season?
I'm a winner, man. I'm a winner. Whatever the team needs of me, like we're in the mode right now. We're in the space right now where the chips are still falling into place. Guys are still trying
Hmm.
to cement their roles. We're still trying to see each other's strengths and things like that. But my ego is out of the way. Like I said, I've made peace with where I'm at. I'm in the EuroLeague. It's a blessing to be here. It took a lot
Yeah.
to get, So whatever the team needs of me, whether they need me to be a small ball 5-man and do my best on Tavares, or they need to go put in 30 points or whatever the case may be, man. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do everything in my power to win as many games as possible, to win a title if possible, to win multiple titles if possible.
Mhm.
It's whatever they need out of me, I'm gonna try and do.
Okay. So with this last question, we're gonna put an end on our conversation with Isiaha. I wanted to thank you again, man, for taking the time to do this. I really appreciated that, and of course, I'm gonna wish you good luck for this new season with Partizan Belgrade. Hearing from you, I know it's gonna be, that they're gonna have a guy who's really excited to bring all this value to the team. So good luck for this upcoming season, man, and thank you again.
I appreciate you, man.